is a new record from NAV Canada. I submitted a request to fly in an area about 12 hours ago and I didn't get a quick reply with one of those, oh, we forwarded your request to Vancouver Harbor, like a generic email. This is actually the first time I'm requesting for a multi-day flight because I might have to be at a certain place twice, like in a row in a day, and it is in a controlled airspace, so maybe that's the delay, but still, I don't know what's going on. Oh, this is nice. They actually sent me an email explaining they missed my last request before. It says, "Hi Alan, I missed your original request date because I was out of office. I've suggested some new dates below for you since the week is supposed to feature some sunny weather." So because of that, I guess, he's suggesting me some dates. He basically approved me for about, what is this, like 3 different days at that location if I want to shoot there? Well, neat. This is separate than the recent request I just did. We'll see if that goes through as well, but I guess that's nice to have the communication there. Although this one, they're requesting me to phone the tower, which is perfectly understandable. This is actually the super closest I've ever been within the downtown core, so to speak, if I go fly here anyways. Actually, when I reply to it, makes me think it's probably the same guy handling all Vancouver requests. It makes me wonder if I'm the one that makes the most requests and you just see my name spammed everywhere. It's just, unfortunately, everywhere is a controlled airspace here. As expected last night, I forced myself to watch that federal election debate because it is voting time soon, and who would you vote for? I'm one of those, quote, undecided voters. And as expected, that thing was pretty much, I don't know, a waste of time for the most part. Just people talking over each other, trying to bash each other for the most part. The perfect example was right from the beginning. They got someone from the audience to ask a question for the leaders, and instead of actually answering the question, they immediately just go on some spiel about like, hey, I am this person, this is my party, this is what we believe in, like completely ignoring the question. Like, what's the point? You're basically just using it as extra, I guess, TV time advertising. I mean, for the most part, it makes me think the conversation is kind of like one person would be saying, okay, that's it, we're on a boat that's sinking, we're all gonna die, save the children. Yeah, for me, I'd be more interested, okay, how are you going to like save everyone instead of just saying, like, for example, you know, everyone's gonna die and all that. Or then the other person, it came more across as kind of like, I don't know, a corporate guy with like too much money, so to speak, and then he's mostly saying, oh, this guy sucks, this guy is bad at this. Okay, why are you so good? Yet you don't really hear why, like, for the most part. And then the other one's kind of one of those things where, okay, this guy only wants to represent his own province. Who cares about everyone else? Like, in terms of the whole country, it's all about us. That's what I felt like anyways. And even the person says something along the lines of, I most likely won't be prime minister or whatever, but then they do have like a huge voting power just in the country in general. Just in general, I wonder why they don't have some kind of system like, not necessarily this, but you know how they have like on TV shows or game shows where when they don't want to hear people hearing like say answers or hints, they put them in like a little chamber or something where it's completely soundproof. Makes me wonder why they don't do that for the candidates when it's not their turn to talk. Muted. Because for me, when I think of things like politics, it still reminds me of that video that went kind of, I guess, viral here, where people in the parliament, they were actually debating about the word fart. Like, talk about using taxpayer money. So like, you spend the day arguing about the word fart, like overall, like what?
Why does this government treat Alberta like a fart in the room that nobody wants to talk about or acknowledge?
I heard her say a word that I know is distinctly unparliamentary, and I think she may want to withdraw it. The word was F-A-R-T.
Are you serious, Mr. Speaker? Like, is my colleague actually serious? No, I don't withdraw it.
And it seemed like the gag of the whole evening was basically there's one candidate named Sin, and people kept referring him as Sheer, like the other guy. So the joke was, do I look anything like him? Completely different ethnicity and all that. There was even a person that implied like, oh, you're not gonna win anyways. So it's more about, I guess, them trying to take seats away from the current party here that has the majority of the seats. It seemed like the issue of climate change came up over and over again, so I won't be surprised if there's a lot of people who vote emotionally just based on that. Although it got me thinking too, just with a lot of the stuff that people say, do people still fall for things like those? I'm gonna give you tax cuts as a reason to say I'm gonna vote for that guy. Because one funny example, actually, they were talking about some kind of tax credit system where if you go to some kind of, I guess, fitness program or something like that, you can actually get credit for that. I believe it's in place right now. But it just got me thinking in terms of spending like, I don't know, all that money and stuff for the benefit of encouraging people to say, go get some exercise. It reminds me of something funny where they said in the US, they spent, I don't know what it was, like millions or billions trying to get, I guess, kids and I guess adults more active. Yet you have a game, for example, like a Pokemon Go that got millions and millions of people to get out and walk more. And they didn't have to spend like billions and billions of dollars to do that. The tracker in this game only works when it's actually on with the internet. I mean, what does it say? I walked here. 13,737.7 kilometers. I mean, obviously this is a little extreme and it's not even the accurate amount, but still, for me, I'd like to hear these types of, I guess, innovations and plans from people in terms of what they'll do, as opposed to just generic stuff saying, I'm gonna cut this, I'm gonna like do that in a stereotypical way. Like, I'd rather hear stuff like this, honestly. Otherwise, to me, it just comes across as, for the most part, the person is just reading a piece of paper or somebody telling him, like you could say, I don't know, someone with corporate interest saying, hey, this is great for this, and they basically take the information and run with it. I'd rather hear like actual ideas like this, like how to innovate and all that to get things going. But yeah, as of now, I don't really know who to vote for. It's like I said the other day, it's more about who's the lesser of all the evils, honestly, just by the sounds of it. But in terms of, I guess, environment and stuff, it was kind of interesting reading this. This one says, drone mini fleet could plant 400,000 trees a day. Drones could someday replenish the world's lost coastal forests. About half of the world's mangrove forests have been lost to logging and big infrastructure. That's equivalent to 24 million tons of CO2 emissions a year, and since it is humans who cause this massive deforestation, it is our responsibility to plant it back with a little help from tech. In Myanmar, a non-profit called Worldview Internation Foundation has planted more than 6 million trees since 2012, with plans for another 4 million by the end of this year. The ultimate goal, however, is restoring 350,000 hectares of coastal forests, which amounts to more than a billion trees. That's a commendable target, but also seemingly unrealistic. Just imagine planting these many trees by hand. A startup called Biocarbon Engineering has a better way of doing this. In 2018, the company flew drones over a remote field in South Myanmar and dropped tiny pods containing a germinated seed and nutrients. Today, the field is covered in 20-inch tall mangrove saplings. And how many can they do? It says 2 operators working with 10 drones could plant as many as 400,000 trees in a single day. The company wants to use this approach to restore forests in India's mountains as well as Sri Lanka. Although by the pictures, they're obviously not flying a consumer drone. It's humongous like the ones they fly. But it's cool to see if this is the way of the future too, just in terms of planting and stuff like that. It's way more efficient by the sounds of it. Alright, see you guys later.